Hey everybody, wanted to do an update video on the Quantel Paintbox. This is more related to the original one, the DPB-7001 that I featured a few weeks ago. So a little bit of progress has been made, but not a huge amount. The main unit, I did actually power that up with the homemade power supply that was that Ash made for it. It did power up, it didn't explode, but unfortunately there didn't seem to be any life in it. So it basically powered on, the LEDs came on, the status LEDs, indicating that there was power, but I didn't get anything on any of the outputs. And that is including the serial port debug console as well. So it meant that very likely the processor wasn't running for some reason. So what I've done with that, I've put that into storage, and we may have a look at that again in the future to see if it might be a simple fix. But that doesn't look particularly promising at the moment. So what I've been looking at in the interim since then is the floppy disks. Now, the disk drive that came with the Quantel, it had an 8-inch double-sided, double-density drive with it, and a number of floppy disks, some of which I've got here. So what Ash and I wanted to do was try and recover or back up some of that data which is on these disks, because these are now getting quite old, so the discs are probably going to start deteriorating, and it'd be nice to get these backed up. So the first thing I did was power up the main floppy drive unit, the beige box that you would have seen in my initial video. Now, unfortunately, the power supply exploded when I turned it on, so that didn't help matters. So I've extracted the actual main drive out of that box, and I've got it running separately. And I've been looking at trying to get images of these discs onto my PC so they can be archived, and if there's anything interesting on them, I can show you. So this is the main drive itself. It's an 8-inch floppy disk. It is an NEC brand, and it's an FD1165FQ, which is a fairly popular one, I think, but thankfully I've got all the service documentation for it. Now, these 8-inch drives, they do use pretty much the same interface that is used on your PC for the old 3.5-inch floppy disks. So there are some differences in the cabling, but that's generally about it. They are just the same interface. So I've cobbled together an adapter cable to convert the 50-way edge connector to your standard PC 34-way connector. So I've had this connected up to my PC, and I have attempted to read some of the discs. Now, the first experiments did not look promising at all. I was using Omniflop, which was recommended to me, but unfortunately that didn't really work at all. In fact, it just reported that there was no disc, and the drive didn't do anything at all. So I abandoned that and moved over to Image Disk, which is a DOS-based utility. So I've got a PC set up here with proper old-school DOS on it, and I've been trying to read some of the discs, and there has been some success. So what I've done is I've been through some of the floppy disks that I've got. These are just a small section of them. So it does seem to be discs other than Paintbox discs in with this lot. So this one, these font discs, those are clearly Paintbox discs, but there is also other discs in here. Let's see if I can find them. Where have they gone? Here we are. These ones. These two here, we've got KBX100C database, Type 6 CMCR, Belfast version 14, and we also have one here which there's a bit of pencil just there, says KBX100 as well, H3S system. Now these discs I am able to read, and I've got a full image of them, but they are not for the Paintbox. These are for a phone system. So these were probably some kind of backup or operating system for the phone system that was used at BBC Elstree, and they've just got mixed up with the Paintbox discs. So yeah, kind of interesting to see what's on them, but not really useful in terms of seeing any sort of Paintbox stuff. So what about the Paintbox discs? Well, we do seem to have here the original masters for the brush master disc, and we also have a large quantity of Paintbox fonts as well. Now, unfortunately, all of the Paintbox discs that I've tried, I've not been able to read. The image disc program just tries to look at sector 0, track 0, side 0, and just says there's nothing there. So Ash and I have been looking at the actual hardware and how the Paintbox itself talks to the disk drive, and how it all sort of works, and the actual interface between the floppy disk and the SMD interface, which is also the same interface that the hard disk uses. There is a processor in the controller card between this and the SMD interface, but it's very, very basic, doesn't do a lot at all. In fact, all it really seems to control is the head positioning. All the actual data that comes off the disk is clocked directly through the SMD interface into the SMD interface cards in the Paintbox and then into RAM. So there is no disk controller of sorts, so it's going to mean that they've done some interesting things with actually being able to format and read the actual discs. So it's making life a little bit complicated. What it actually probably means is there are actually no sectors on these discs, or what we understand as sectors are not the case for these Paintbox discs. Normally on a floppy disk you have sides, which is the two sides. There are a number of tracks which run around the circumference of the disk, and then each track is divided up into sectors. But we are kind of suspecting that that is not the case with these Paintbox discs. That there are certainly tracks because they are sort of limited by the hardware of the drive, but the actual sectoring is a bit vague, to be honest. So we kind of suspect there might really only be one sector per track, with some really weird synchronization stuff in there. So what do we do from here? Well, what Ash has been doing is he has started working on an FPGA device which will plug into the standard Shugart floppy disk interface and will clock the data off the disk directly. So that's abandoning all the concepts of sectoring and things like that, and he will basically clock off the MFM data as it comes off out of the drive, I should say, and then we shall be able to analyse it and see what kind of format it actually might be in. He's working on that now, and he's making some good progress. He's just using a 3.5-inch floppy disk just to get things rolling, but I believe he has a 8-inch drive on the way, so he can also do some reading of the actual Paintbox discs. So that should hopefully prove to be fruitful, and we'll get a bit more information. Right, so as soon as I make a little bit more progress, or I and Ash make a little bit more progress on getting stuff off these floppy disks, I will certainly do an update video when that happens. Hopefully it won't be too long. Okay, thanks for watching everybody. I will see you on the next update. Bye for now.